Wrestling with WWE NXT Stand and Deliver. Takes place and it's a matinee performance at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada. Um, and yeah, pretty straightforward card. 5 matches. Definitely very much a let's get as many fucking names on this card as we can.
On this card as we can, yeah.
That being said, it doesn't look that bad of a card to begin with. I mean, every match makes sense in my opinion. But what say you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the women's fatal four way. I see why it makes sense. Uh, the ladder match, of course, is just basically. I feel like that they had. When has there never been an NXT where they have a match where it's a gang of wild card motherfuckers for a title? So,
Yep.
as far as like a ladder match or a bunch of motherfuckers, you know. So
Yep.
that makes sense. Uh, but yeah, yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a solid card, and of course, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how certain things work out. But we'll get into it when we get to the match.
We have a lot of matches.
Matches.
Yep.
That's a matches. So let's
Yep.
get there.
Let's get into it. A lot of match for the vacant NXT Women's North American Championship. We have Delta Airlines versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame versus two TBDs. Who wins, Kaliko?
Um, we have to see what the two TBDs are. Um, my thought process is Soul and Zarya or Soul Ruka, as they call themselves, Zaruka.
Zaruka?
I forgot the
Yep.
yes. That ain't they not winning. Kalani at this point seems like a favorite until the determines. Because Kalani is the only person that's actually had the belt. Izzy is more famous for tweeting that Braun Breaker spears her every time she gets in the house. Uh, not saying that she's a horrible wrestler, but we just got to see more out of her. And then we just got to figure out who are the other two qualifiers, because depending on who they are, it could sway the whole thing.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Um, I could. That being said, I could say maybe Sol Ruka wins, and that is the knife between Zarya and Sol, where they start a feud with each other. I mean, there's not a lot of room for tag teams in WWE on the women's level. I mean, they're the
Yeah,
only women tag team in NXT right now. So
yeah. Whoever thought it was a good idea to merge the women's and all the women's NXT and women's tag titles, because honestly, if you had the NXT women's tag titles, that would have been a great story for them to have the titles and kill it.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but like again, there's
There's not enough women's tag
when you're
teams.
the
That's
only, and I mean, it definitely progressed them character wise. That we got some character development out of both of them. Because
hmm
of this, which is appreciated, but you know, there's only so far it can actually go because there's nothing for them
that
to
is
return
true.
with
That is true.
what's around them. So it won't it would make I mean maybe it would make sense that Zarya won and Soul she turns on Soul or the other way around. Selfishly, I'd like to see the title on Soul. Um,
I don't think that they're going to win the title. I think the match is going. See, this is where they have the problem with them not having tag titles because I could see the match itself being the 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 driving factors of them breaking up
true.
because they're both wanting it and they could take each other out.
I don't think Carlani Jordan, the last time they had a ladder match for this title, she won it. So I feel like that just excludes her right away, unfortunately.
I
Um,
mean, that's why I said them TBDs because at this
yeah.
point, I don't see Izzy winning it. Give me a reason Izzy would win.
She's in that faction with Ty Dillinger, and it seems like they're kind of high on her. I would say. I mean, she's not.
I mean, but
I mean, she
they
hasn't
just
necessarily.
they just had their leader lose to Ricky. What the?
Well, I mean, it seems like they were more high on her than anybody else in that group. Like I couldn't necessarily tell you who was in that group besides Izzy Dame and Ty Dillinger.
You know what? I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna I'm it's a hot take, pure speculation. I think one of the TBDs will be Thea Hale.
Ooh, okay.
And if Thea Hale's in it, she will win it. Because I think that's something that she never really got to shine under. She shined under Chase U, but she came up short under Chase U. And her coming in and winning the title and having a new look, a new attitude, and winning the title gives you more interest into her.
I gotcha.
So that to me, I think she would be one of the TBDs. Now the other one, no, I couldn't tell you, but I'm just going out and saying Thea Hale would be one of the TBDs.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with because keep in mind we don't know who the TBDs are, so I can only say what's in front of me. So I'm gonna say
Right.
my first pick is gonna be Sol Ruka. Ruka and Zarya start feuding, and then my second pick would be Izzy Dame.
All right.
And you have uh Thea Hale as your first pick, and who was your second?
Depend. I'm saying Kalani until I get the full card.
Fair enough.
Because Kalani's the only one that Kalani lost it, never really got a rematch. I could see them putting it back on her.
Then we have the fatal four-way
Ooh,
match.
because
Hmm?
I just thought about that. Because I just thought about that. Because I mean, Jada's gonna get knocked off that card, and Jada's. I mean, to me, Jada's taking the pin. So Jada and Kalani for the NXT Women's North American title is.
Didn't they do that already,
eh,
though?
no, no, everything was after she lost the title.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't necessarily change any outcome if it's for the championship compared to you not for the championship.
But WWE seems to be a glutton for black on black crime at this point.
Speaking of which, fatal four-way match for the NXT Women's Championship match. Championship. Stephanie Vacour, Gulia, Jordan Grace, and Jada Parker. Who wins, Kaliko? And why is it Stephanie Vacour?
We agree Jada's taking the pin, right? just I love Jada. There's something about her her mouthpiece is gonna get her far. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Her mouthpiece is gonna get her far. Um the thing is with this is that it's tough because Julia lost the belt because they thought she was injured.
Right. And she had
Now,
some visa
now
issues as well.
Jordan Grace technically, I'm gonna say Julia. I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
Julia's pinning Jada, which honestly would lead to a Vakor Julia Jordan Grace triangle because Jada's just there to take the pin, to be quite honest. The real story is going to be between them three. And you wouldn't, you know, take the title off Julia unless you just knew she was going to be gone long term. And that's one. Two, I could see them putting Stephanie on the roster immediately because of the three, she seems to be the most over to be ready to be on the main roster.
Okay, so I completely disagree.
Of
Um,
course.
I could agree that Jada is gonna is taking the L. She's she's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
on her.
she's taking the spin.
Just
If
take.
Jordan takes this pin, it's a bitch.
Um, I see Vakura being the one to take the W. Good. First and foremost, good on Jada Parker. You know, she's only been wrestling for what, a couple of years, and she's fucking with three wrestlers that've been wrestling for what, 10 plus years. So good on her for getting there. Um, but I see that Jordan Grace and um and Jada are going to be fucking with each other. Um, I could definitely see, they don't like each other. They've been fighting, you know, and they haven't had that one-on-one match. And obviously, Jordan needs something to do. Especially, she literally just got there, so it would
Mm-hmm.
make sense just to put the belt on her. Especially when you have Stephanie, rocking that motherfucker like she has been, like no other before her except Asuka at this point. Um, so it's gonna be Julia and Vakor for quite some time. I could see that rivalry going well into maybe November. I would say. I don't think that they're going to be stop feuding anytime soon. Until then,
You
I see
expect this feud to go to November?
maybe maybe August, SummerSlam time. But
That's-
you need some you need something for Jordan and Grace to do for the time being. So, and it puts more eyes on Jada Parker wrestling a big name like Jordan Grace. So it's going to splinter into two exclusive rivalries. That's what I think is going to happen. Stephanie for the W.
All right, we'll see who's right. We'll see who's ultimately right.
Well, our next match, I can't even say that we could really properly review it, but Nathan Frazier and Axiom will defend the.
It's whoever. You know they beat whoever the fuck is gonna be. Like, it's just no, just going on. Axiom against everybody at this point. They are Detroit. They against everybody.
Ricky Saints versus the winner of the Fatal 4-Way match to determine the number one contender for the North American Championship.
I mean, I would think it would be well. I would think if Ethan Page is in it, I think it would stand that he would be the person to win, right?
mean, that would make the most sense, but I could also see
It
this
would
be.
stand for him to win the number one contendership to in order for Ricky Starks to get the win.
But I could also see this divulging into not a singles match, but a fatal five way. Because, get as
Oh
many.
Jesus Christ! They just got a ladder match on the bitch. They're not trying to do that. Now they do a lot of goddamn wild card shit, but they ain't doing it that much. Sean ain't that crazy.
I mean, they want to get as many people on the card. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities, in my opinion.
Mm, nah, because I'm looking at I'm using history as an indicator, and history is telling me they only have one of these goddamn crazy ass. Everybody named Mama gets a goddamn title shot, which to me I think Ethan Page. I think it's gonna be a 1-on-1 for that title.
But we could probably both agree that it's Ricky Saints winning the match.
Of course. And there goes our Bailey Roxanne Perez fucking
Yeah,
we really thought that shit was gonna pop off. Like, god damn it.
yeah. It went out with a whimper, not a bang.
It did. I thought that would have been like, I mean, they're both Mexican, but it's Tex Mex versus Cali Mex, and that's a whole different two whole different Mexicans. Food wise anyway.
Now we got a triple threat match for the NXT Championship. Saba Odi Acapulco versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. Who wins, Kaliko?
Well, we can agree Javion's taking the pin, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, all right. There we go. See, let's agree on that part. Let us let's let's agree. Let's agree before we figure out who's winning the match. We both know that is going to happen, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
we can agree on that.
with that being said, um, it's interesting because the question is, if Trick wins, what does he gain?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, Trip is a good chaser. He's not necessarily a good champion, if I'm being completely honest.
Bush.
He's,
He was okay. I mean, is he solid? Is he like? Let's see. Within the last five NXT champions, he's better than Ethan.
um, I mean, it's like I said, he's better on the chase than it is actually, as the champion. Like this Trip Williams that we're seeing right now, I'm digging him. He has a bad attitude, yada yada. When he had the championship, I don't know. I don't want to say he was maybe stale, but when they're putting you with Sexy Red, there's a problem with your title run. You know what I mean?
No, 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 sir. How dare you? No. No, no, no. They put her with Sexy Red to reach the African American demographic. I know exactly what they did.
He's black. He's literally
Th-
the demographic.
that's my point. NXT, this NXT, the NXT that they're leaning more hip hopish rather than rock, if that makes sense.
Yes. I mean,
That's what I'm.
they used to be
That's what I'm talking
poppy, and
about.
now they're Travis Scott.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's more, that's what they're leaning towards. It's not a knock on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's more of what they're trying to get to. Because all of this, everything that WWE does now is hip hop ish.
yeah. Kind of missed
So
the heavy metal days.
that's what I was.
Cause
It
I,
had its place. It had its place. However,
yeah.
shit changes. Hip hop is a new rock, and people just got to deal with it.
So who's winning, Trick or Saba or Oba?
Oof. I mean, the only reason I think Trick would win is that if Oba's going to the roster like right now, because he seems the more main roster ready.
True.
Um, that's the only reason I think Trick wins. But then again, I just because my problem is whether one of it could be Javion. Watch Javion win and fuck us all over. Anyways,
That
it,
was not on the
it
bingo card.
that was not be on the bingo. That'd be literally number one what the fuck moment. Anyways, but my problem is even whether Trick or Obi wins, the problem with Trick winning is he's literally done it all and faced everybody there. Damn near. And then when you look at Oba, if Oba wins, who are you really going to favor against him? And those are the two biggest things. So I, I would say Trick would win because of the fact that we've seen him lose the title on two occasions. So it won't hurt him to lose it to somebody in NXT by an Oba. I mean, we've seen Oba lose the title, but it felt like some Rocky Four Clubber Lang shit. Like D'Angelo had to dig deep to fucking win.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
So you don't remember that?
Yes, it's I blocked it out of my memory.
See, that's my point. So you making my point for me. So to me, oh, if Oba's losing, he's not taking the pin, and he's going straight to the main roster.
Okay, so I actually have some thoughts on this. Because there's one factor that we didn't necessarily clue in, and that's that faction called Dark State. Um, and if I'm being completely honest, Dark State was dead on arrival. Like nobody gave a shit about it. They just beat Javon, Oba, and Trip literally last week. Nobody gave a shit. No, nobody. Like nobody was like. At first they were like Shield, mysterious. Who are these salient guys? And then nobody was asking who they was, so they just was just like, oh, they're Dark State, and these are their names, because literally nobody gave a fuck about their names. How do
Hmm.
you fix a stable that nobody gives a shit about? You stick a star with them that people do give a shit about. I think Trick Williams is gonna be the head of Dark State, and he's gonna be the leader. Um, it gives credibility to these guys. It adds a new layer for Trip. Um, and it makes it an uphill climb for Oba to say that, oh, he doesn't have just Trip to deal with, but he has the whole Dark State. It's literally 5-on-1. So it's a hill for the baby face to climb.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. Trick is gonna win. He's gonna turn on, and he doesn't seem like he gives a shit about Dark State Idol, which just seems like really out of place in the rivalry. Uh, so I'm saying Trick turns. He's the new leader of Dark State, and Saba Odie chases afterwards.
I mean, why would Soba Odie chase? But I
Almost
think Soba Odie would just go straight to the main roster and wouldn't even think about it, to be quite honest.
I mean, I completely get that, but it doesn't. It seems like he's a big deal on NXT right now, and they need something to attract fans. They need to sell tickets, and if Oba's selling tickets for them, they're gonna hold on to him a little while longer until they could, suck every penny out of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, they're low key. They're not even letting go of Roxanne Perez, and like she needs to go on the main roster at this point. Like she's like a tweener at this point. She's going in between.
I mean, yeah. Roxanne. Um,
All right. Any last thoughts about NXT before we conclude this preview?
I mean, it'll be. I'm ashamed that they didn't put Bailey in. Well, Bailey's gonna be too busy turning on Lyria this WrestleMania, but I would have was sure thought that they would have put the Bailey Roxanne send off match on that bitch.
I mean, it definitely would have made sense, but they could maybe do it at the next pay preview, whenever that is.
Maybe, but I'm a trust Sean because if there's one thing he knows how to take care of is that bakery.
That he does, and we could all agree on that.
So he protects the bakery like it's nobody's business.
He is the Muffin Man.
Yeah, he is the ultimate muffin man.
Alright, that'll conclude our coverage of NXT Stand and Deliver.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.